The story starts on the planet Caden, where the ruthless Admiral Scorba rules and plans to enslave the entire galaxy. However, a small resistance remains. One rebel, a scientist named Yang, grants his newborn son extraordinary powers in the hope that he'll one day defeat Scorba. When Scorba hears of the child, he rushes to Yang's lab to eliminate the threat. Yang quickly launches his son to Earth in a spacecraft, just before Scorba arrives with his daughter, Agata, who has the ability to read minds. Agata's mission is to track down the superpowered child and bring him back. However, the ship crashes into a satellite on the way and ends up landing in Spain. Agata loses the trail and heads to the US. Meanwhile, a couple in Spain, the Lopezes, discover the spacecraft and decide to adopt the child, naming him Juanito Lopez. It soon becomes clear that Juanito isn't a normal child. His mustache grows back instantly after shaving, and he displays superhuman strength, heat vision, and incredible speed. He even wins a football game by himself. But his strange abilities alienate others, and no one shows up to his birthday party. His parents urge him to hide his powers if he wants to fit in, and Juanito starts suppressing his true self. Fast forward 20 years. Juanito is now an adult working in an office. One morning, his boss and best friend Jamie calls him, wondering why he isn't at work. Juanito lies, saying he's already there, then uses super speed to beat Jamie to the office. Jamie introduces a new employee named Louise, who happens to be the same woman Juanito had a crush on back in university. Jamie is smitten with her and plans a party in her honor, though one isn't enthusiastic. At the party, which turns out boring, Juanito learns that all Louise really wants is his presence. He rushes to get ice to liven things up, but Louise leaves while he's gone. He uses his powers to catch up with her at the subway station and asks her on a date. During their dinner, a group of rowdy teens disrupts the restaurant. Louise wants to confront them, but one holds back, trying to stay unnoticed. The situation escalates, and he ends up humiliated. Still, he doesn't reveal his powers. Everything changes when a subway train malfunctions. To save the passengers, Juan jumps onto the tracks and tries to stop the train, first with brute force, then with a fire hose. His efforts go viral after being caught on cameras owned by Chit Technologies, run by the now-adult Agata, who's been building a robotic empire. Recognizing Juan's identity, she heads to Spain with a robotic army. Meanwhile, Louise vents to Juan about Jamie's clingy behavior and jokes that Spanish people could never be superheroes. Their chat is cut short when Jamie bursts in, announcing Agata Mueller's arrival in Spain. Agata contacts her father, reporting progress in her mission, but Scorba warns her that if she fails again, he'll destroy both Earth and her. As Juan heads to his next date with Louise on a bus, he suddenly hears Agata's voice echoing in his mind. Agata uses her telepathy to schedule a secret meeting with Juan at the Chit Technologies headquarters, telling him he must come if he wants answers. During the meeting, she explains his alien origins and invites him to return to his home planet, Caden, where his powers would be honored. Juan is doubtful and decides to leave, but Agata reads his thoughts and realizes he's eager to get back to Louise. Determined to stop him until her father arrives, she commands her guards to detain him, but Juan easily defeats them and escapes. Frustrated, Agata sends her robots to retrieve a DNA sample from Louise. At the office, a robot disguised as a vacuum collects her lip print from a cup. Jamie notices the suspicious robot and tries to interfere, but it transforms into a spider-like machine and attacks. Fortunately, the janitors help Jamie destroy it, though the DNA data has already reached Agata. Jamie then rushes to warn Louise of the danger. Meanwhile, Juan visits Louise's house to apologize for being late. She's tipsy and emotional, and confesses she has feelings for him. Though Juan knows she's meant for Jamie, he kisses her goodbye, only for Jamie to witness it, feeling deeply betrayed. Seeing a chance to manipulate him, Agata recruits Jamie, offering him a lifelike robot clone of Louise. She promises the real Louise will be his if he helps her. The next day, Juan confronts his adoptive parents about his past. They reveal they found him as a baby in a field and show him the spaceship he came in. When he accidentally activates a recording, a hologram of his real father urges him to return to Caden and stop Scorba. Though this confirms his destiny, Juan is still reluctant to become a hero. Inside the ship, his mother finds a mysterious fabric with a C on it. Inspired, his parents help him craft a superhero costume, and Juan reluctantly agrees to try. The suit gives him flight, but he's never flown before. His first rooftop attempt ends in failure, drawing laughter from local kids. Ironically, their mockery helps him unlock his powers. When he throws up a heavy metal hand sign, he begins to levitate, then takes off into the sky. After practicing flying, Juan returns home, where he's greeted by the robot version of Louise, sent to convince him to return to Caden. Sensing something off, Juan changes the topic and asks about their kiss. Unbeknownst to Agata, Jamie hijacks the robot's audio and, pretending to be Louise, coldly calls the kiss disgusting and accuses Juan of betrayal. Hurt, Juan agrees with her, saying Jamie is his only true friend and he never meant to hurt anyone. Touched by Juan's sincerity, Jamie decides to stop helping Agata. However, Agata regains control of the robot and orders it to attack. The robot, still disguised as Louise, kisses Juan, then hurls him through a wall. A fierce fight breaks out. Juan's adoptive parents come to his defense. When the robot threatens his mother, Juan smashes it with a giant ham, defeating it. Now desperate, Agata targets the real Louise. Juan finds her and tries to prove his powers, but she's skeptical until he shows her his superhero suit and prepares to fly. Just then, several superhero cosplayers confront him, provoking a fight. While he's distracted, Louise is kidnapped. Agata uses her mind to taunt Juan with the news. Juan quickly defeats the cosplayers and races to Agata's building to save Louise. Inside, he discovers Louise and his friends bound and in danger. As he tries to help, a powerful sound emitted from speakers weakens him. Jamie urges Louise to confess her love for Juan to motivate him, but it doesn't work. Ironically, hearing his friends insult him reignites his rage and strength. With a blast of laser vision, Juan cuts through a wall and rescues his friends. Meanwhile, Scorba finally lands on Earth, furious at Agata's repeated failures. Unable to take her father's cruelty any longer, Agata rebels by tearing out his oxygen hose. As he dies, she uses her mind-reading ability to hear his final thoughts and discovers that, in the end, he's proud of her for rising to power. However, this realization leaves her conflicted as she's now about to become the very dictator he was. Meanwhile, feeling defeated, Juan tries to destroy his superhero costume, declaring he no longer wants to be a hero. At that moment, Agata arrives at his home in a spaceship, which transforms into a war machine upon landing. As Juan's adoptive father distracts her, Juan rushes to retrieve his costume, and the final battle begins. During the showdown, his family steps in to support him. Agata, who has never known what it's like to be loved by a parent, targets Juan's dad using a massive vacuum-like robot. Despite Juan's efforts to stop her, his father gets sucked into the machine. Agata then hurls Juan across town, and he crash lands onto a football field mid-game. He tries to fight back using a soccer net, but it ends up falling on his mom, who is also captured by the vacuum. Worn out, Juan is brutally beaten by Agata's robot. Seeing this, Louise devises a plan. She asks Jamie to distract Agata so she can sneak up on the robot. As Agata focuses on Jamie, Louise shouts at Juan to do the same move he pulled off during their first date. Inspired by the voices of his family and friends cheering him on from inside the vacuum, Juan soars into the sky. He proudly declares himself Super Lopez, unleashes a powerful blast of ice breath to freeze the robot, then knocks it into a pool where it short-circuits and collapses. Agata is finally defeated. Louise finally sees Juan as the hero he truly is. But their celebration is interrupted when Juan's mom reminds him that his biological family still needs saving. Instead of going himself, Juan sends Agata and a superhero cosplayer to Caden. The cosplayer is mistaken for Juan and is crowned the planet's new ruler. Footage of the battle between Super Lopez and Agata is captured by local kids and goes viral, making one the first Spanish superhero to gain nationwide fame. He begins patrolling the skies, helping citizens, but soon realizes that his heroics come at a cost. The city raises taxes to cover the damage he causes during his missions, leading to public frustration. Meanwhile, Louise is irritated by his constant tardiness due to his new responsibilities. Even so, Juan's real journey as a hero is just beginning. At a cafe, he meets a mysterious man with a teleporter device who hints that they'll meet again. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and support the channel for more content like this.